Hello everyone and welcome to this week's video announcements after a little hiatus last week. I have several things to let you know about or to remind you about. Hopefully most of them you've already heard about. But I want to remind you that we're still in the midst of this Giving Fest. We're inviting people to fill out a form, let us know things that they would never ask for help with, but they'd love help with, and then eventually we'll get a sign-up genius so that people can help one another and receive help from one another. So I'll put a link to more info for that in the comments. That is continuing. Probably pretty soon we'll close the part of it where we're inviting people to submit requests for help. We've got a couple of interfaith things coming up. The Interfaith Choir is going to be singing at Yom HaShoah, a Holocaust Remembrance event on May 7th at Riviere University. It's put on every year by Temple Beth Abraham and Riviere, and the Interfaith Choir always sings. And their first rehearsal is tomorrow, May 1st, 6 to 7 p.m. here. They are also rehearsing May 5th, that's Sunday, 6:15 to 7:15 at Temple Beth Abraham, and then they're singing May 7th. If you want to be a part of that, you can get in touch with Becky Green or show up to one of the rehearsals, and they would love to have you. The other interfaith thing coming up is on starting Monday, May 6th, and running for 3 Mondays. There's going to be an interfaith book group on Zoom that's being put on by the Interfaith Council, reading this book, My Neighbor's Faith. I have some copies of it here if you want to borrow them. And each meeting is going to cover about a third of the book. I'll be leading the first one, and then we have someone from the Church of the Good Shepherd Episcopal leading the second one, and Rabbi John Spear-Savet from Temple Beth Abraham is leading the third session. Those are going to be 7 to 8 p.m. on Zoom, and there'll be a great chance to have some conversation about a really rich book about interfaith encounter with folks from the interfaith community. So would love to have you join for that. I'll put a link in the comments to where you can sign up for that, and you do need to sign up to get the Zoom link. So I'll put the link for where you can sign up. Coming up this weekend is our cemetery tour. This is being put on by the Nashua Historical Society in our cemetery, which is really exciting. They're going to have reenactors telling stories about different people who are buried there. There are 2 different loops you can go on. You can go on both if you want to spend the whole afternoon learning about folks in our cemetery. It sounds like it's going to be a really wonderful and fascinating program. I already have my tickets. And I'm really excited to learn a little bit more about some folks. And I hope you might join as well. There is, you can come at 1 p.m. or 3 p.m. I'll put a link in the comments to where you can get tickets. And we also are still looking for some volunteers to help that day. So I'll put a link in the comments to the sign-up genius for that too. So that is this Saturday, which is May 4th. And the tours are at 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. And the other thing coming up this weekend is that we are hosting an OWL training for folks from all over. They're going to be trained to teach Our Whole Lives for 7th through 12th graders. Sadie is organizing it, and she would love some help. She's put together a sign-up genius for some helpers for this weekend. I'll put a link in the comments to that. We'd love to have your help. Also this weekend, I will be preaching our first sermon on pluralism. So I hope you will join me on Sunday to talk about pluralism. This week is called Pluralism and Dialogue, and we're going to be talking about how we have conversations with people who we disagree with, and how do we do that in a way that is productive. So join me on Sunday for that. There will also be faith formation workshops for kiddos. It's usually the first Sunday of the month is Children's Chapel. Not this month. Kids will be in for the first 15 minutes of the service and then head to workshops. And Children's Chapel will be next week instead. So note that change in schedule. A couple other things happening next week. The Welcoming Congregation Working Group is meeting 7:30 to 8:30 on Monday on Zoom. I'll put the Zoom link in the comments where you can join them. They're going to be talking about plans for Pride, and they would love to have you join them. They're always open to new folks joining. There is on Thursday next week, on Wednesday next week, May 8th, the DRUM, which is the Diverse Revolutionary Unitarian Universalist Multicultural Ministries, is putting on their yearly public worship, and we are sponsoring it again this year, and would love to have you attend. It's online. It's open to everyone. It's a fundraiser as well as always a wonderful worship service. I'll put more information about that. I'll put a link in the comments for more information. Couple things coming up in the summer, or almost summer. June 2nd is our annual meeting. I hope you have marked your calendar for that. It'll be at noon. And we are going camping at the end of August. And if you want to sign up, get more info about that, I'll put a link in the comments for that as well. So that's what I've got right now. That was a bunch of things. So thank you for listening all the way to the end. Thanks for joining me for video announcements. And I hope that I will see you this weekend, either at a cemetery tour or at worship on Sunday.